Hey, it's Ryan over at 2 Minute Tennis, and in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for faster serves. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Even share this video with a friend, as those are the best ways to support this channel. So the first thing I want you to do to allow you to hit faster serves is be sure that you are coiling at the beginning of the serve. I see so many players when they serve, they face their court and then they just toss and hit and there's no body rotation. Much like a baseball pitcher, we want to turn away from our target and then come back toward the target. We know that the serve is similar to a throwing motion, so a similar body mechanics will be needed. So when you turn and coil, where the upper body turns more than the lower body, that stores up energy and we get to release that energy into the ball. So it can be as simple as this. You'll set up to serve and just turn. And you'll notice my opponent can see my chest right now, and now they can't. Just that little turn and coil, where the upper body turns more than the lower body, is gonna help your serve. I'm willing to bet you have a friend who serves like this. And that's their serve. They face forward the whole time. And that's what their serve looks like. And if that's what your serve looks like, this is gonna greatly benefit you. One tip that I've noticed helps players learn this a little more easily is to put the racket on the ball. Where you're resting the racket on the ball, you're being nice and relaxed with your arms. And that just makes sure that you turn as a unit. So don't have your hands apart at the beginning, because what you'll end up doing is taking the racket back and most likely the ball stays in front. So I want you to turn, keeping the racket resting on the ball. So you'll coil, and then you'll be able to uncoil into the serve. All right, tip number 2 is going to be tossing forward into the court. The toss should not be like an elevator going up and down in a building. You don't want to just toss straight up and have it come straight down. The toss should pull you into the court. And it doesn't matter what serve you're hitting, flat, kick, top spin, side spin. We want that toss bringing you into the court. Watch the pros, when they're done serving, whether they jump or don't jump, they're going into the court. This allows you to lean into the serve. Whenever you're looking to increase your racket speed, if the ball is too much straight above you and you lean in, now the contact's behind you, your racket's wide open and the ball goes out. So there's no point in making your serve faster if it's not going to be more consistent. Here's the cool thing. The first tip actually helps with the second tip. See, a lot of players, they keep the ball in front of their shoulder and then they go to toss, and that actually leads to the ball going behind them. By coiling from the first tip, that brings the ball behind the tossing shoulder. It's called the J toss, and it actually allows you to, after coiling, have it very easy to toss into the court. You could put a bucket or a ball hopper or a basket of balls in front of you, whatever, a box, and just practice tossing into it. But after you coil your body to store up energy, toss into the court. The toss should be like a rainbow. And you can toss and just see where your ball goes. I mean, if you're tossing and the ball just comes straight down where you are, that's not going to be the toss that's going to allow you to hit faster serves. So try coiling and then tossing and actually having the toss go out to the service line. Let's see if it goes to the service line. Sorry, I'm just kind of doing this. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, just passed. Try to, and you might be thinking, there's no way. There's no way that's actually the correct toss. Give it a try, right? Give it a try. You won't know unless you give it the old college try. I want you to coil, toss in to the court. I can tell you this, if I had not hit that ball would have gone to the service line. I'm going to toss the same way. I'm not going to hit this ball. Coil, toss. Now look, I would have hit that ball. That ball's easily going to the service line. Toss the ball into the court, like leaning into a punch, or a baseball pitcher leaning into the throw. Learning to toss into the court is going to allow you to hit the ball faster. And the first tip, coiling, actually makes it very easy because you brought the ball behind the tossing shoulder, and now it's actually very easy to toss the ball like a rainbow. All right, the third tip. And this is all about the position after you toss the ball, the position in your arm. I was giving a Zoom, I do Zoom lessons for people and like private lessons. And I was giving a woman recently a lesson and I explained to her that the position, it's almost like there's like a dresser, there's like a dresser, you know, where you put clothes and you're kind of resting your arm on the dresser. That position is the position you want to be in on your serve. If you've ever been told that you go into the waiter's tray, if you don't feel like you swing the way the pros do, where you get into that nice trophy pose, it's usually because the moment the racket goes across the feet, the forearm becomes vertical, or even worse, laid back right away. So it looks like this, where the elbow is actually in front of the hand. What you want to do, and it's called elbow the enemy, Jeff Salzenstein, what you want to do is after you turn, is you want to toss, and it's not like you're elbowing someone, but you want to get into this position where from the elbow, the hitting elbow, to the hand is very level. Rather than vertical, it's horizontal, it's parallel to the ground. So you can do this drill just to practice this. You coil, you toss into the court, and then just stop in this position. At this point, you could put a ball in the throat of the racket. At best, most recreational players in a tennis club toss the ball and they get into a vertical position. That's usually at best. What usually happens is they go like this, and now their elbow's in front. And when your elbow is in front of your hand, the only thing you can do is this to hit the ball. What we want is a quarterback football throwing motion. And that throwing motion entails having the elbow back, and then the elbow comes forward as the football lays back, and then it's like a slingshot or like a catapult, and it just flies out of the hand. So what you're gonna have to work on is after you coil, after you toss into the court, just stop in this position. And notice I'm looking at it to make sure. Like, you don't wanna do it and go like this. Yeah, pretty good, I got it. Like, you're not looking at the racket. After you coil, after you toss, check it out. Like, notice what you're doing. Your elbow should be pointing back, palm down, it's called palm down, strings down. Remember, I could put a ball in the throat of the racket, and the tip of the racket is actually pointing the direction that I am facing. Look at Federer, look at Monfils, look at Kyrgios. This is exactly what they do. All right, tip number 4. And tip number 4 actually comes from your ability, let me just move these balls, your ability to do checkpoint number 3, or tip number 3. Tip number 3 was just this. If you've watched me for any amount of time on social media, here on YouTube, you know that I'm a big fan of the birthday hat, because if you do the conventional, you know, that forearm straight up in the air, the racket laid open, if you do this and you serve, your racket would never hit the birthday hat. When you swing with the proper throwing motion, the racket will pass in over your head, and if you're wearing a birthday hat, the racket will hit your birthday hat. So this isn't some like suggestion, like, oh, give it a, you know, imagine it. I implore you to go out and buy a birthday hat and put it on your head and start hitting serves. And don't worry if people are watching, that your goal isn't to impress them. Your goal, you know, with a birthday hat, your goal is to impress them with a great serve. So you don't worry about what they say, because you're working on yourself and you're getting better. Learn to serve and knock the birthday hat off of your head. When you couple this position, elbow back, strings down, when you couple this position with this move right here and the racket passes in over your head, that's how you're gonna hit the fastest serves. Let me hit 2 serves and you'll see that I hit the birthday hat off with my racket. I coil, and there's the serve. Notice I hit the birthday hat. Watch this one in slow motion. You'll see that I knocked the birthday hat off from front to back. So you're probably thinking, yeah, but the serves went out. They did. Everyone misses. So I'm not going to edit that out. And the last tip I want to show you is harnessing the tossing arm as a reactive break. It's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I watch on social media students learning to throw this left arm behind them. And I even see coaches demonstrating that after they hit the ball, their hand goes back. Forget about this. Please do not worry about your tossing hand going behind you. That is very stylistic. You don't need to worry about how long you can hold your balance after you serve. How long are you going to be holding your balance in this? What needs to happen is after you toss, after you knock the birthday head off, the tossing arm should drop down in front of you and then pull in against your body. This is called a reactive break. See, your arm will speed up. Remember, we were uncoiling because we coiled. We are now uncoiling like a corkscrew. We're going up and we're uncoiling up into the serve. But if we stop that rotation, the law of conservation of energy is going to move all that energy into my arm, and I actually swing faster. You will swing slower keeping your body rotating. You will swing faster by rotating and then stopping the body's rotation and then accelerating your arm. Look at Federer hit a serve. Look at Dominic Thiem hit a serve. Look at Roddick hit a serve. As they're contacting the ball, their tossing arm jams in against their body. Now, speaking specifically of Dominic Thiem and Andy Roddick, when you watch them, when they're done, they go like this. But this isn't the important thing. That's not what gave them a great serve. What was important is that they pulled this arm in. And by the way, baseball pitchers and football quarterbacks pull this arm in order to accelerate the hitting arm. So here's what I say to my students. Your tossing hand, so that's for me, my left hand, your tossing hand should smell like your right armpit, again, if you're right-handed. So it looks like this. I coil, I toss, and watch where my left hand ends up. See where my left hand is? I'm actually waving to the camera. It's one of the things I look for when I give private lessons to students online, is when they send me videos of their technique, I look for their tossing hand to be on this side. Most players have their left hand, if they're right-handed, their left hand here. That means their body is rotating, which won't accelerate the racket as fast. As if you stop the body's rotation, it actually accelerates the racket. And you're going to do that by pulling the tossing arm in. Now, one disclaimer here, and I'll show you this from the side. It's important that when you do this, the tossing hand doesn't drop to here. It has to go out toward the target and then pull into the court. So here are the 5 tips again. First tip, make sure that you are coiling at the beginning of your serve. You are going to coil and then later on uncoil. The next tip is to toss into the court. You don't want the ball going straight up and straight down like it's an elevator. You want the ball arcing into the court. That's going to allow you to lean in, and it's just an easy way when you swing faster for the ball to go in. Third, when you toss, really work on having the elbow and hand be level to the ground rather than immediately getting the arm vertical. Get the arm parallel to the ground, horizontal. When you do that, you're in a great throwing position that allows you to what? Knock off the birthday hat. That's going to be the big power source here, where you make a circle like this with your racket. And then last, you've got all of that energy going up to the ball. You want to pull this tossing arm in against your body, and that releases all the energy into the hitting arm, and then your racket travels faster. So follow those 5 tips, and there's no doubt you're going to hit faster serves, you're going to win more matches, and you're going to play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy over at 2minutetennis.net, and I'll see you in the next video.